Beyond survival, living a fulfilling life after a stroke. The morning David woke up in the hospital, unable to move his right side or speak clearly, he thought his life was over. At 52, he had been a successful architect, an avid marathon runner, and a devoted father of 3. Now, as he struggled to form the simplest words and watched his useless right hand lie motionless on the white hospital sheet, he felt like a stranger in his own body. 6 months later, David would stand before a room full of stroke survivors, speaking clearly about his journey, his architectural firm thriving with new adaptive technologies, and a different kind of marathon ahead of him. His message was simple yet powerful: stroke may have changed his life, but it did not end it. Every year, millions of people worldwide survive strokes, joining a growing community of individuals who must navigate the complex journey from survival to truly living again. The statistics tell only part of the story. While medical advances have dramatically improved stroke survival rates, with more than 85% of stroke patients now surviving the initial event, the real challenge begins after leaving the hospital. The journey from stroke survivor to stroke thriver requires more than medical treatment. It demands courage, adaptation, support, and a fundamental reimagining of what constitutes a meaningful life. The immediate aftermath of stroke often feels like standing at the edge of an abyss. Everything familiar seems distant and unreachable. Simple tasks that once required no thought become monumental challenges. Making a cup of coffee might require intense concentration and multiple attempts. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now demand careful word selection and patient listeners. The person in the mirror looks the same but feels fundamentally different. This disconnection between who you were and who you are now creates a grief that many stroke survivors describe as more challenging than the physical disabilities themselves. Yet within this darkness, remarkable stories of resilience emerge daily. Stroke survivors are returning to work, albeit sometimes in modified roles. They are finding new ways to pursue passions, discovering abilities they never knew they had, and building relationships deepened by shared struggle and triumph. They are proving that life after stroke, while different from life before, can be equally rich, meaningful, and fulfilling. The key lies not in trying to return to exactly who you were before, but in discovering who you can become. The path forward requires understanding that recovery is not a destination but a journey without a clear endpoint. Unlike healing from a broken bone, where progress follows a predictable timeline, stroke recovery unfolds uniquely for each individual. Some experience rapid improvements in the first few months, while others see gradual gains over years. Some regain most of their previous abilities, while others must adapt to permanent changes. This uncertainty can be frightening, but it also means that improvement remains possible long after traditional rehabilitation ends. Society often focuses on the dramatic moments of stroke survival and initial recovery, but the real story unfolds in the months and years that follow. How do you rebuild a career when your dominant hand no longer works properly? How do you maintain relationships when communication becomes exhausting? How do you find joy in activities that now seem impossible? How do you deal with the invisible challenges like fatigue, emotional changes, and cognitive differences that others cannot see but profoundly impact daily life? These questions have no simple answers, but thousands of stroke survivors are finding their own solutions every day. This journey beyond survival requires a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of viewing stroke as only a loss, many survivors eventually recognize it as a transformation. They speak of discovering strength they never knew they possessed, developing deeper empathy and connection with others, and finding meaning in unexpected places. This does not minimize the very real challenges and losses that stroke brings, but it acknowledges that human resilience can forge new paths when old ones close. The medical community increasingly recognizes that optimal stroke recovery extends far beyond physical rehabilitation. While regaining movement and speech remain crucial, addressing emotional health, cognitive function, social connection, and life purpose proves equally important. Quality of life after stroke depends not just on what functions return, but on how survivors adapt to changes, maintain relationships, pursue meaningful activities, and continue growing as individuals. Family members and caregivers play essential roles in this journey, often undergoing their own transformation. They must balance providing support with encouraging independence, manage their own grief and adjustment while supporting their loved one, and often take on new roles and responsibilities. The stroke affects the entire family system, and successful adaptation requires everyone to find new ways of relating and functioning together. The workplace presents unique challenges and opportunities for stroke survivors. Many fear they will never work again, yet thousands return to productive employment. Success often requires creativity, flexibility from employers, and sometimes career pivots that lead to unexpected satisfaction. Technology increasingly bridges gaps, allowing people with various disabilities to contribute their skills and knowledge. The key lies in focusing on capabilities rather than limitations and finding environments that value diverse abilities. Social connections, often strained by stroke, require intentional rebuilding. Communication difficulties, physical limitations, and changed dynamics can isolate survivors from previous social circles. Yet new communities often emerge, built on shared understanding and mutual support. Stroke support groups provide spaces where struggles need no explanation and victories, however small, receive genuine celebration. Online communities connect survivors across distances, providing support and inspiration around the clock. The concept of success after stroke requires redefinition. Pre-stroke measures of achievement may no longer apply or satisfy. Instead, survivors often develop new metrics for meaningful life: the quality of relationships, moments of joy, contributions to others, personal growth, and the ability to face challenges with grace. This shift from external achievements to internal satisfaction can lead to deeper fulfillment than previously experienced. Physical activity and exercise, modified to individual abilities, play crucial roles in ongoing recovery and life satisfaction. While marathon running might no longer be possible, wheelchair sports, adaptive yoga, swimming, or simply regular walks can provide physical benefits and emotional boosts. The key lies in finding activities that challenge without overwhelming, that provide a sense of accomplishment while respecting current limitations. Cognitive changes after stroke, including memory problems, difficulty concentrating, or slower processing, require specific strategies for management. Many survivors develop systems for organization, use technology aids, and structure their days to maximize cognitive function. Rather than hiding these challenges, openly addressing them often leads to better support and understanding from others. The emotional journey after stroke deserves particular attention. Depression affects up to 1/3 of stroke survivors, while anxiety, anger, and emotional lability create additional challenges. These emotional responses are not signs of weakness but natural reactions to profound life changes. Professional counseling, medication when appropriate, and peer support can help navigate these emotional waters. Many survivors report that addressing emotional health proved as important as physical therapy in their overall recovery. Intimacy and sexuality after stroke remain topics often shrouded in silence, yet they significantly impact quality of life. Physical changes, medication effects, altered body image, and role changes within relationships all affect intimate connections. Open communication with partners and healthcare providers, along with willingness to explore new ways of expressing intimacy, can help maintain this important aspect of life. Financial concerns add another layer of complexity to life after stroke. Medical costs, potential loss of income, and need for adaptive equipment or home modifications strain budgets. Navigating insurance, disability benefits, and financial assistance programs becomes a necessary skill. Financial counselors specializing in disability issues can provide valuable guidance. Some survivors discover that simplified living, forced by circumstances, brings unexpected benefits. Driving represents both a practical necessity and a symbol of independence for many. Losing the ability to drive can feel like losing freedom itself. Some survivors regain driving abilities through rehabilitation and adaptive equipment. Others must rely on alternative transportation. Communities vary widely in accessibility, making location a significant factor in post-stroke independence. Advocacy for better public transportation and community support benefits all people with disabilities. Nutrition and lifestyle modifications play ongoing roles in preventing future strokes and optimizing recovery. Many survivors become experts in heart-healthy eating, blood pressure management, and lifestyle factors affecting stroke risk. This knowledge, hard-won through experience, often leads to healthier living than before stroke. Some survivors become advocates, sharing their knowledge to help prevent strokes in others. The search for meaning and purpose after stroke leads many survivors in unexpected directions. Some become advocates for stroke awareness and prevention. Others use their experience to support newly diagnosed patients. Creative pursuits often flourish, with many discovering artistic abilities enhanced or revealed by brain changes. Volunteer work provides opportunities to contribute despite limitations. The key lies in remaining open to new possibilities rather than mourning closed doors. Technology increasingly supports independent living after stroke. Voice-activated devices compensate for mobility limitations. Apps assist with communication, medication management, and cognitive exercises. Virtual reality aids rehabilitation. Online platforms enable work and social connection from home. Staying current with technological advances opens new possibilities for independence and engagement. The role of hope in stroke recovery cannot be overstated, yet it must be balanced with acceptance of reality. False hope that everything will return to exactly as before can hinder adaptation. Realistic hope acknowledges current limitations while remaining open to improvement and finding new sources of satisfaction. This balanced hope fuels the daily effort required for ongoing recovery while allowing peace with present circumstances. Stroke survivors often speak of time differently after their event. The acute awareness of mortality can lead to greater appreciation for present moments. Priorities shift from future achievements to current connections. This presentness, while born from crisis, often enriches daily life. Many survivors report feeling more alive and aware than before stroke, finding beauty and meaning in previously overlooked moments. The concept of post-traumatic growth applies powerfully to stroke recovery. While no one would choose stroke, many survivors report positive changes emerging from their struggle. Increased appreciation for life, deeper relationships, recognition of personal strength, spiritual development, and new life priorities represent common areas of growth. This growth does not negate losses but exists alongside them, creating a complex tapestry of human experience. Building resilience after stroke involves developing multiple strategies for facing ongoing challenges. Physical exercise, mental stimulation, social connection, spiritual practice, creative expression, and contribution to others all play roles. Resilience is not about being strong all the time but about knowing how to recover from setbacks, ask for help when needed, and celebrate small victories along the way. The importance of routine and structure in post-stroke life cannot be understated. Predictable schedules reduce cognitive load, ensure important tasks get completed, and provide security in a life that may feel unpredictable. Yet within structure, flexibility remains important. Bad days will occur, and the ability to adjust expectations and activities accordingly prevents unnecessary frustration. Advocacy skills become essential for many stroke survivors. Medical appointments require clear communication about needs and concerns. Insurance companies must be navigated. Workplace accommodations need negotiation. Community accessibility issues demand attention. Many survivors find their voice growing stronger through advocacy, benefiting not only themselves but others facing similar challenges. The journey of family members and caregivers deserves recognition and support. They too must adapt to changed circumstances, often sacrificing their own needs. Caregiver burnout threatens the well-being of both caregiver and survivor. Respite care, support groups, and maintaining caregiver health prove essential for long-term success. The best outcomes occur when both survivors and caregivers receive needed support. Planning for the future after stroke requires balancing hope with pragmatism. Legal documents may need updating. Home modifications might be necessary. Long-term care insurance could provide security. These practical matters, while sometimes difficult to face, provide peace of mind and protect both survivors and families. Professional guidance helps navigate these complex decisions. The stroke survivor community offers unique understanding and support. Connecting with others who truly comprehend the journey provides validation, practical tips, and inspiration. Seeing others further along the recovery path instills hope. Helping newcomers provides purpose. These connections often develop into deep friendships based on shared understanding that transcends pre-stroke social circles. Celebrating progress, however small, fuels continued effort. The ability to button a shirt independently, speak a difficult word clearly, or walk an extra step deserves recognition. Comparison with pre-stroke abilities often discourages, while comparison with immediate post-stroke function reveals genuine progress. Keeping a progress journal helps maintain perspective during difficult periods. The question of identity after stroke challenges many survivors. Am I the same person? How do I introduce myself when so much has changed? Integration of pre- and post-stroke identity takes time. Many survivors eventually describe themselves as stronger, more empathetic, and more authentic than before. They have faced one of life's greatest challenges and discovered they could not only survive but grow. Returning to or discovering joy after stroke marks a crucial milestone. Joy might come from different sources than before. A grandchild's laughter, a perfect cup of coffee, a moment of clear communication, or a small independence regained can spark deep satisfaction. Cultivating awareness of these moments and actively seeking joy becomes a practice that enriches daily life. The ripple effects of one person's stroke recovery extend far beyond the individual. Children learn resilience watching a parent adapt and persevere. Communities become more accessible through advocacy. Workplaces develop greater flexibility. Healthcare providers gain inspiration from patient progress. Each survivor who builds a fulfilling life after stroke lights a path for others to follow. Looking back, many stroke survivors mark distinct phases in their journey. The acute survival phase focuses on medical stability. Early recovery emphasizes regaining basic functions. Later recovery shifts toward adaptation and rebuilding life. The thriving phase emerges when survivors stop trying to return to who they were and embrace who they are becoming. This evolution takes different amounts of time for each person but represents a common trajectory of growth. The future for stroke survivors continues to brighten. Medical advances improve acute treatment and recovery potential. Technology opens new possibilities for independence. Society slowly becomes more inclusive and accessible. Research reveals the brain's remarkable plasticity and capacity for continued adaptation. While challenges remain significant, resources and opportunities for fulfilling life after stroke expand continuously. The message that emerges from thousands of stroke survivors living full lives is one of possibility. Yes, stroke changes everything. Yes, the journey is difficult beyond what anyone who has not experienced it can fully understand. But within this difficulty lies opportunity for growth, connection, and meaning that might never have emerged otherwise. Life after stroke is different, not over. It requires courage, creativity, support, and persistence, but it can be deeply fulfilling. For those beginning this journey, know that the path ahead, while challenging, is walkable. Others have traveled it before you and wait to offer support and guidance. For those supporting survivors, understand that your role, while demanding, makes possible the recovery and growth that follows. For society, recognize that stroke survivors have much to contribute when given opportunity and support. The architect who began this story now designs accessible buildings that work for everyone. He no longer runs marathons but coaches others with disabilities in adaptive sports. His relationships with his children deepen through vulnerable conversations during recovery. His marriage, tested by stroke, emerged stronger through facing challenges together. He would not choose stroke, but he would not trade who he has become through the journey. His life, fundamentally changed, is undeniably fulfilling. This is the promise and possibility of life beyond stroke survival. Not a return to what was, but a journey toward what can be. Not a lesser life, but a different one with its own richness and meaning. The path requires everything you have to give, but it leads to places you never imagined you could go. In the end, stroke survivors do not just survive. They adapt, grow, contribute, and thrive. They prove daily that the human spirit's capacity to forge meaning from adversity knows no bounds. They live fully, not in spite of stroke, but encompassing all aspects of their journey. This is life beyond survival. This is the ongoing story of human resilience and the endless possibility of renewal.